universe. These are the factors that are really going to distinguish who's successful versus who isn't successful in getting off the opioids. Also, there is data in experimental human models that shows that cannabinoids are beneficial for changing our response to fears, and therefore it might be helpful to take either before or after the psychotherapy session. So a lot of people that want to get the best results are in counseling, using cannabis either before or after the counseling may enhance the benefits. People that aren't already taking the cannabis are encouraged to take advantage of the 2-week window of opportunity that begins when they first start cannabis. We see this all the time in the clinic, that for the cannabis naive patient, they're able to make these huge reductions in their opioids right away. We're talking 50 to 80% reduction in the first week or two. And it's not because anybody tells them they have to, it's because the pills simply feel too strong when you start taking them with cannabis. And patients start breaking them in half and taking them less frequently. For people that are already using cannabis, before they start reducing their opioids, I encourage them to do the sensitization program to really optimize their potential to respond to the cannabis. And if they're only using inhalation, do the switching from inhalation to tincture program so that they can find a tincture that works for them, understand what's the appropriate dose and so forth, and get all their tools ready for this effort to reduce opioids. Having that time to prepare is really important. There are a subset of patients that don't find efficacy with low-dose cannabis as an adjunct to either their opioids and help them get off opioids. And for those patients, I do usually encourage them to try this very high-dose approach that many of you are familiar with when it comes to treating cancer. This is 100 to 500 milligrams of cannabinoids total, usually 3 times a day. But you can't begin there, it would be quite uncomfortable. So you begin at a kind of a small, moderate dose, and then you very gradually increase to these high doses over the course of a couple or a few weeks. And I have seen in patients where this type of treatment actually works when the low dose doesn't work. So it's another option. It's more expensive, more potential side effects, but very effective for some patients. I also want to point out the psychoactive benefits of cannabis. Many of you are aware of this, and I know my time is almost up, so let me move quickly. But these are things that help with quality of life. You know, it's important for people to actually experience the consciousness that cannabis has to offer when they're using this herb to get off the opioids. I'm seeing more and more patients that come in, they want a non-psychoactive experience. They don't want to get high. And I usually encourage them to do get high, maybe even just an hour before bed, so they can have an opportunity to experience this positive mood, this intensification of ordinary experiences, but also to begin to separate the layers of their symptoms and their suffering. Because it often feels like it's just one big ball of suffering. And with the use of cannabis, they can start to see, well, here's the signal of pain. But then here's my judgment that's saying that's bad, and here's the suffering that I'm attaching to that judgment, and here's the anxiety that I'm attaching to what if I stay in pain, and then all the behavior that emerges from that. And so being able to dissociate or separate those out is really helpful for people in bringing those sensations back down to something that's just like, oh, this is a signal that's coming into my brain. I can put it on the back burner. I don't have to have all these behaviors that are associated with it. I don't have to allow it to control my life. That's, and I just wanted to mention briefly that PTSD is underneath a lot of opioid abuse. It's not widely recognized that opioids help with PTSD, but they do. They can temporarily relieve the symptoms of PTSD. And so and a lot of people that are using opioids illicitly, I encourage them to use cannabis to help with those symptoms and to take a good look at themselves and the trauma they've had in their lives, and use cannabis in the best way they can to address that trauma. We're going to end with a few patient narratives. I know I'm a couple minutes over. These are really powerful. Is it okay if I go for a few more minutes?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great. So these are from that, when I sent out that survey to my patients in Maine, I gave them an option of telling their story. And I just chose a few. I was in a car accident about 13 years ago. I had a hip injury that was being permanently impairment and a severe head injury. I was immediately placed on 24-hour opioid painkillers. Throughout the 12 years, I had been prescribed just about every different type. I was also on several other medications, ranging from nerve pain meds to blood pressure meds. I became determined to get off the opiates because they truly never eliminated the pain. I used medical cannabis to help me withdraw. It was quite a substantial process due to the length I had been taking them, 24 hours a day for 12 years. It made the withdrawal much easier. I had been in much less pain and was able to eliminate all the other medications I was on at the time. It gave me my life back. It was amazing. I credit cannabis for much of my success. This is 12 years of daily opioid use, completely discontinued with the help of cannabis. Here's another one. I took opiates for 15 years along with various forms of benzos. Those are muscle relaxant anti-anxiety drugs like Valium. I had legitimate pain. I fractured my back in 3 places when I was about 19. I healed from the initial injury, but the pain got worse over the next few years to the point where I was drinking to get by. I had an uncanny knack for being able to walk into the doctor's office and get almost anything I asked for due to my injury. Anyway, I took opiates to the tune of 2 OxyContin 80s and 12 milligrams of Audins as a break to pain. At some point, it wasn't just about the pain anymore. It had become more about the addiction. In retrospect, the opiates were only working on the emotional pain, not the physical pain. So to make a long story short, I've been in detox 27 times since I was 27. I've been in 3 30-day rehabs from here to Ohio. I tried halfway houses, Suboxone treatment, etc. It's been 21 months since my first visit to your office, and I literally have not used an opiate since. Thank you. P.S. I truly believe that medical marijuana has saved my life. Just incredible the severity of these cases where cannabis has this complete clinical response. So in summary, the opioid problem is growing. Prescriptions are a bigger problem than heroin, but they're both a big problem. Here's what we know. Cannabis can replace and reduce opioids. Adding cannabis makes opioids safer by widening the therapeutic window. Cannabis prevents opioid tolerance and the need for dose escalation. Cannabis can treat the symptoms of opioid withdrawal and is safer than the other harm reduction options. It's also effective for PTSD, which underlies a lot of this abuse. So cannabis is just a great solution, and I'm so glad to be able to get this information out to you today. On my website, healer.com, I have a document that patients can print out and take it into their healthcare provider. It has a concise summary of what the healthcare provider needs to understand concurrent use of cannabis with other treatments, and it's got a good section on the effects of combining cannabis with opioids. That might be helpful for people in communicating with their doctors. Also on my website, healer.com, I have a 1-hour video of a lecture that's very similar to this. So if you want to get this information out to someone else, you can send them to healer.com. I also want to put in a plug for the Medical Cannabis Institute, which offers online continuing medical education for clinicians, and I am through. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
That was awesome. And you answered a lot of questions that I had sitting right here. At the same time, does anybody have any questions they would like to ask Dr. Sulak? I think you covered. Yes.
I do medical massage, and I work on a lot of people that are in pain from car accidents. I also work with veterans who are in a tremendous amount of pain. Can you hear her?
I can just barely hear her.
Well,
You could someone turn me to
Yeah,
do that?
let's get her on up here. She needs to know something. We're talking to the
So the end of the question was, good.
Hi there. So I do medical massage, and I work with a lot of car accident victims and a lot of veterans that are in a tremendous amount of pain who cannot test dirty, either one of them. And I want to be able, in Oregon, we're allowed to use topical as a massage therapist if we use gloves. Of course, I use my forearms. But I wanted to find out how can I best help them without them testing dirty, but giving them relief? I mean, I have one guy I can barely touch him. So I'd like to know what best can I use?
That's a really good question. I think depending on the sensitivity of the test, a lot of them are going to test positive from topical use unless it's just a very small amount. There are some products available that are CBD based, that they come from hemp, but they're extracted and purified to really contain absolutely no THC. I don't think that those would trigger the drug test, but I don't think that they would work as well topically. So it's a tough situation that you find yourself in. I wish I had a better solution. And that solution might be for them to take this information to their doctor and take a letter from you, and the letter says, I'm using topical cannabis, the patient's not getting high, they're not taking it on a regular basis. It's unlikely to trigger their drug test, but if it does, please know this is why. And here's the information on using opioids and cannabis together. That would be my best suggestion until policies change.
Thank you. Do we have anything else? Okay.
Hey Doc, thanks for the presentation, learned a lot. I'm a disabled adult, 23 years, I've had 5 back surgeries. This is my question. I replaced Oxycontin 11 years ago. My doctor's in Sausalito, he now lets me use his name is Michael Moskowitz. But this is my question, will cannabis medicine in the whole form of the plant ever be funded through Medicare Part D or Medi-Cal or even work comp? Because in California, we have basically, I believe it's like 14 million people that are been injured at work. And when you're injured at work, you have pain. And the pain is all funded with the opiates. And so we have no help for you guys, the doctors, because you don't have it on your platter. That's what my surgeon that operated on Joe Montana said. So my question is I write Senator Feinstein and a whole bunch of other people, especially back where you're at, because the epidemic is worse. I believe it's 100 a day. But how are we going to get this funded?
It's a great question. I think that I have a little bit of an answer for you. So you mentioned Medicare, Medi-Cal, and workers' comp, and I'll start with the good news, which is workers' comp, because we've made a lot of progress with workers' comp here in Maine. We've had several cases where the judge has determined that the workers' comp company has to pay for the herbal cannabis treatment. And the doctor gets to say how much an average patient should be using a month, or not should be, but is using a month, and what the approximate cost is. And so the last case actually went to something, a special type of trial where every workers' comp judge in the state had to be present, and every single one of them here in Maine ruled in favor of the company paying for the cannabis, which means now every other case that goes before the workers' comp board is going to likely be awarded reimbursement for cannabis. So, and I say reimbursement because the company isn't paying directly for the cannabis, they're just reimbursing the patient. When it comes to Medicare and Medi-Cal, the news isn't as good, but there's still an option. And that option is prescribed THC. Every pharmacy now carries, and it's been this way for decades, carries THC in a pill. It doesn't work quite as well as herbal cannabis, but it does work very well for people. And I prescribe it to a number of my patients because they have insurance that will reimburse them, and they take it, and it's a dependable dosage. They don't have to be scared when they go driving. And it's considered off-label use of it because that medicine is only indicated for chemotherapy-associated nausea and vomiting and for wasting syndrome associated with HIV and AIDS. But it's an effective treatment. And so I think those are two directions that we can go. I really don't think we're ever going to see Medicare reimbursing for an herbal product that's not FDA approved.
Well, when I saved my insurance company, do you have that information of that work comp cases on your website that I could actually follow?
I don't have it on my website, but it made news. I think that if you Google Maine workers' comp and cannabis, I bet you'll be able to find it.
Okay, and you know what a Medicare set-aside is?
A Medicare what?
A Medicare set-aside.
I don't.
Well, work comp patients, okay, let's say in California we have this 14 million. In 2006, the federal government made a deal with like my insurance company, Liberty Mutual. I've saved them $770,000 by stopping all that Oxycontin and 14 other prescriptions. So I'm in the process of a Medicare set-aside. Basically, they're taking the work comp patients off, and Medicare then is going to fund all my future stuff. So I've gotten Marinol prescribed to me, but they won't fund it through Medicare Part D because it's off-label, so they don't actually put an amount on that. So what it is I'm a patient that's going to get like close to $600,000. 150 goes into a Medicare set-aside. So all of the work comp patients that take this little carrot, they started off with 2009 with only 50 grand. Then they turned me into Social Security. So I know these other advocates like Dennis Barone and LD Musica, and I had to tell Social Security I use marijuana over dying on Oxycontin. I have letters from Medicare that still